Okay, I'm here today with Forrest Greenslade. He's a neighbor in Farrington Village and sculptor and artist and author of a new book. So, Forrest, tell us about your new book.
Okay. Um, the book is Animal Farm, the rest of the story. And it's
Oh,
in the allegorical history tradition of many writers, including George Orwell, who wrote 1984 and Animal Farm. Uh, Orwell wrote that book in 1945, and using allegory, it explained the way in which the Soviet Revolution was stolen by the, uh, the leadership later on. He uses the story of uh, animals taking over a farm with the idea of having an egalitarian society where all animals were equal. But what happened then, as everyone knows, is a very cautionary tale.
right. Some animals are more equal than others. Does
Yeah,
that seem to have some? Yep.
and those were the pigs.
Right. And do you think that has some relevance to what's happening today?
I absolutely do. I started out this idea kind of as a joke when the Donald in 2015 came down his golden escalator to announce that he was going to run for president. Um, his his corpulence and his orange hair just screamed out Orwell to me, and I kind of as a joke, I put a little story extending Orwell's uh, allegory on Facebook, in which there was a great orange pig, and people laughed and laughed at it and encouraged me to keep going. So in real time, while watching TV, reading the news, etc., I used allegory to document what was happening from 2015 all the way to December or to November 5th, 2024.
Right.
And
Mhm.
I ended up showing it to a publisher, uh, Newman Springs Publishing, uh, and it's
Okay. All right. So can you share the beginning of the book with us?
sure. The Orwellian beginnings. Things went well after the farmer was expelled. All of the animals worked together. They made rules to ensure that the old ways did not come back to the farm. I guess you know what happened then. The pigs decided that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. They took up residence in the farmhouse, which was against the rules. They demanded that the other animals obey their laws. Only the ancient workhorse plodded along. The farm became even worse than it was when the human farmer was in charge. A precautionary tale. But the story didn't end there. The pigs began to argue among themselves. Some pigs banded together and formed a powerful group, the Great Outstanding Pigs. The GOP made the other pigs and all the other animals work long hours under intolerable conditions. They did not let any other the animals have a say in the governance of the farm. They called it reform. A stable genius. Then a different pig took over the GOP, the Great Orange Pig. He held a beauty pageant called Venus de Porco in the Russian Bear's Farm. The Great Orange Pig had written a book, The Art of the Squeal. He made all the pigs wear silly red hats with holes cut out for their little piggy ears. The hats had maggot, most awful, gross gaggle of toadies printed on them. And you can see that it goes on from there uh, to kind of categorize and document what happened during the next 4 years.
Right. Yes. Do you have another section you want to share?
Yeah, this is a brief section, but
Mhm.
it shows a transition for America history. It's called "We Have to Talk."
Mhm.
The real old donkey challenged the great orange pig to a debate. The great orange pig said, "Anywhere, anytime." In June, they held an early debate between the two presidential candidates. It was considered a critical indicator of their relative strengths. The great orange pig lied and lied and lied. The real old donkey just acted real old.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's a sad moment. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, do you want us to tell us what the future holds?
Well, most authors don't want to tell the end of their book, but everybody knows what happened on November 5th and how the election went. So I'll share with you the rest of the story.
Okay. Hmm.
The the rest of the story. So here's where my little allegory must pause. We likely will never really know the rest of the story. This tale was never about the great orange pig, or the real old donkey, or the Veep Jenny. It was about the ancient workhorse. Our journey as a democracy has had periods where the ancient workhorse ran at a gallop. Other times it has slowed and even stumbled. The tipping point between a diverse, pluralistic democracy and a narrow dictator autocracy is a fine one. Stay
Hmm.
tuned.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, what in other than this story, what inspires you as a writer, would you say?
Well, the the job of an allegorical historian is to use the characters in the allegory to document what happened. Right now, the politicians are hiding, uh, are misdirecting, or even avoiding what really happened in those 4 years. But my animals won't let that happen. Through
Hmm.
them, history of these few years have been documented, and the lessons learned there are here for everyone to see. Uh, the great orange pig, the real old donkey, and all of the pigs that had turned into sheep are here for everyone to read.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So you've been writing for a long time. Tell us about your experience as a writer.
Well, I published my first scientific article as a sophomore in college, and then I've been writing all kinds of things ever since. Hundreds of scientific articles, chapters in books. I wrote a couple books for the World Health Organization. Um, and then I switched to become a writer of poetry and a writer of leadership and management, and now of allegory.
Mhm.
Been writing all my life.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And how might people get this book?
The book is, as I said, published by Newman Springs and distributed by Ingram worldwide. It's already available on Amazon, and soon it will be on other major book venues. And it's available right here in Farrington Village at McIntyre's Books.
Right. And you're going to be doing a reading at McIntyre's soon?
Yes, sometime in the spring. Yep.
Okay. So people can watch out for that.
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
I'll I'll post it on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to add, you think?
Oh, not at all. Other than I hope folks will read my little allegory and take to heart what has gone on, because uh, this very well could be a junction in American democracy.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the very educational story. I think that people
Yeah,
will appreciate it and resonate to it.
and
Thanks so
thank you
much.
for helping me. Thank you for helping me tell my story.
Sure, sure. Just turn this off here.